How's it going, everybody? So we have a beautiful anemone here. As so often, we're underwater in Dauin on Negros Island in the Philippines, and you can see a colony of these damselfishes there. And here you can see the large female of the colony tend to her eggs, which are on this stone in front of the anemone. So, by the way, it's really childish to refer to these fishes by the Disney character name. Don't do that, please. And yeah, so these anemones, which are in these sandy, soft-bottom habitats, they are, habitats on their own. They are the homes for these damselfish. So here I'm showing you recordings of the damselfish and the anemone in time lapse, so that you can see how active these fish are in the anemone. So they're really considered, the fortress, and they're very active within it. They barely ever leave it. And in the front you can see a small shrimp, and here you can see there's another shrimp in the front. And on the left there comes a porcelain crab. So these anemones are not just homes for these damselfish, but for a great variety of small crustaceans. And these crustaceans, just like the damselfish, barely ever leave the anemone. So that was me in the background. The porcelain crab, by the way, it's not a true crab. It's more closely related to a squat lobster. And, are these parasites for the anemone, or are they mutualistic symbionts? Are they helping the anemone in some sense? I have to admit, I'm not completely familiar with all of the scientific literature on that topic, but the impression I get is often that, these commensals, these animals which live on bigger animals, they can be both, depending on the situation. And so beautiful little shrimp here. Again, there's not just that porcelain crab, so there's a whole fauna of crustaceans really living on these anemones. And you can see the anemone moves around. That's because the damselfish are bumping into it. So the anemone, of course, is in this sandy area, in this muck area, and I cannot stress that often enough, that these muck habitats are not dead sand. These are very rich, active, biodiverse habitats. So here, a porcelain crab found a dead fish, which probably the anemone captured, and it's digesting it. And there, there's another species of small shrimp here. So very complex interactions here between the anemone and all its inhabitants. Often I have the impression that the anemone fish don't like all of these crustaceans very much. And you can see in the background how the anemone fish rock the body of the anemone around. Now, the porcelain crab is a filter feeder. You can also see its specialized appendages here, with which it captures plankton. Quick intermission. You should please support my channel. I wrote a couple of books and they're here, or you can directly support me via PayPal, or please like, subscribe, leave comments. I think I'm providing interesting comments on the ocean and its inhabitants. So if you want to see more of that, give me a hand. That's me talking underwater. You can actually do that. Next chapter, the intertidal space. And even when the water is only a couple of centimeters deep at low tide, do we have anemones with shrimp living on them. So there is one in the background, and here, this anemone is in 6 centimeters of water or something like that. This is near our home in Bacong, also on Negros Island in the Philippines, of course. You can actually see me in the background setting up the camera, and there is some interaction going on. So there is a larger shrimp, probably the female, and a smaller male, and this anemone is their home, and they're not going to leave it, even though it's almost drying out. So there was some action going on a second ago. Some other shrimp scared that big shrimp and made it come to the front. So it's great to scuba dive, of course, but it's also a awesome way of experiencing the marine fauna of the Philippines. If you're just in this intertidal species, there is a goby, which I believe is Spathogobius fuscus, and again, I filmed that when from through the water, and it was just a couple of centimeters deep, and a tiny crab here. So, there's such a wealth of crabs and other crustaceans. So, to get very solid in their taxonomy, that's really one of my projects for the next couple of years, really. And, this is one of the synaptid sea cucumbers, which is a grazer. And again, I filmed it in very shallow water. Finally, we're back to properly underwater, a couple of meters deep. However, not very deep either. So this is a small frogfish, and you can see how strong the current is. So this I probably filmed in 2 meters of water, or 2 or 3. And at the end of a night dive, and there is a powerful current, and a lot of these small animals in these muck diving sites, they have to deal with these currents. Really interesting what a struggle of survival this is. There is a very interesting crab in one of the night diving sites which I frequent. Extremely long legs in relation to its body. And this is another strategy which I've seen in a lot of different animals. In these muck soft bottom habitats, that if they are discovered, and obviously the crabs saw my video light during this night dive, they would dig themselves into the sand. So, you have camouflage, you have venom, and you have hiding under the sand, you have symbiosis, these small animals have to pull out a lot of tricks. This is a decorator crab, and I believe this is some kind of egg mass it's carrying on its body. And you're probably wondering what this snow is. There's a tiny crustacean. And there's another decorator crab, and it uses algae to camouflage itself. So again, what a specialized, amazing fauna we're having there in these muck, soft-bottom habitats. And this crab is working very hard to look like a ball of algae, to not be seen in otherwise the absence of any cover. And here these are extra balls of algae floating around next to it. And we are concluding here today's video with this is a mollusk. This is a sea slug, which does look, its own body looks like a ball of algae. So I hope you enjoyed this. Check back soon, and bye.